How's it going, everyone? I'm Mark, co founder of Nestment. We make it simple for friends to purchase real estate together. You can join our waitlist and check out our beta over at nestment.com. Today, I just wanted to talk about 1031 exchanges. You might have heard of them. There's some great benefits to them, but there are some catches. And if you actually qualify for a 1031 exchange, so we're going to go over this at a really high level for a novice or a beginner. So what is a 1031 exchange? It essentially allows you to defer capital gains tax when you sell an investment property and purchase a new investment property of equal or more value. So if you invest in a property, it gains appreciation and you sell it, that amount that you gain is going to be capital gains tax, and you're going to have to pay taxes on that. So a 1031 exchange says, hey, if you're buying another investment property, you can go ahead and defer that capital gains until a future point. So really great benefits for not paying tax right when the sale happens if you are purchasing another home. There's a few different types of 1031 exchanges, the most common being a delayed exchange. So that's what we're going to talk about today. There's also a simultaneous exchange, reverse exchange, construction exchange. But those are more rare than the delayed change. So visually, this is what a delayed exchange looks like for a typical 1031. You sell your home. It's worth more now. It's appreciated over the course of 5 or 10 years. You have 45 days to not be taxed on that gain, on that appreciation of your home. If you identify a new investment property that you'd like to purchase, and then you acquire it within 180 days of selling that original property. So there's kind of three steps here. The 45 days being the biggest. This is kind of like your grace period where you can actually search for another property. But you do have a 45-day window to identify a new property and actually report that to a qualified intermediary, somebody who's actually involved in the 1031 exchange. Make sure that you're not kind of cheating the system or going through any workarounds. You're going to have to identify a new piece of real estate and go ahead and file that with a qualified intermediary. And then you have 180 days really to complete the whole transaction. So we'll go through an example. Say I buy this awesome California home for $500,000. 5 years later, it's worth $1 million. And I say, hey, wow, Scottsdale, I can get a lot more bang for my buck. People have been moving to Arizona during the past 2 years of the pandemic. I'm going to go ahead and sell my house in California and get another place in Scottsdale or in Phoenix. So it's now worth $1 million, the difference being $500,000, $500,000 that I'll have to pay capital gains tax on unless I purchase that investment property in Arizona. So this is me kind of thinking about the possibility of an Arizona house. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put up that property, and as soon as it closes in California, and I make that sale, I'll have 45 days to kind of identify a property in Scottsdale or in Phoenix, and then give that property to the qualified intermediary and let them know, hey, this is the property or the listing that I'm interested in that I'm going to place a bid on. So you actually have to place a bid on that property that you've identified. There's no, identifying a property and then 45 days when that window shuts saying, oh, I actually want to do it for a different property. Can I have an extension or an extra 45 days? That does not happen. So you're going to want to make sure you do your research in those 45 days or before even selling your house on the market you're interested in and that new listing. And this is kind of what that graph that graphic I showed you earlier. This is a more simplified version of that. And again, here's that graphic of I sell my house in California, and that's day 0. I look in Scottsdale or Phoenix, somewhere in Arizona, and I have 45 days to tell this intermediary, hey, I've identified a listing that I'd like to purchase, and then I have 180 days in total to actually close on that and not pay capital gains on that $500,000 of appreciation. And I can pay that at a later time if I sell my new place in Arizona, or I can do another 1031 exchange after I sell my new place in Arizona and keep deferring that capital gains tax. So there are some rules for the replacement property that you identify that you want to move to. It should be of equal cost or more than the property that I sold. So if I sell my place in California for $1 million, I need to buy a place that's $1 million or more over in Arizona. We already went through the 45-day window and the 180-day window, and it also must be used as an investment property. I can't have my California property be an investment, sell it, and then purchase a $1.5 million home in Arizona that's my primary residence. I have to use that Arizona home as an investment property as well. You guys can look through. I'm going to put a link to this slide or to this presentation in the description. You can look through more of these examples. I just want to get to the benefits. The big benefits, obviously, I've talked already and made the point that you're deferring your capital gains tax till a further point in the future that you don't have to pay right now, which is awesome. Number two is capitalizing on appreciation. So if you're in a hot market and you think that it might be coming for a downturn, say, again, let's go back to my example of California. I've appreciated $500,000. It's now worth $1 million. And maybe I'm like, oh, a lot of people are moving out of California. It might not be as hot. There's a recession coming. And I want to go to greener pastures. I can go ahead and utilize the 1031 exchange without paying capital gains to go to a different market and really, like the bullet point says, capitalize on the appreciation of hot markets, and then you can always transfer that investment to greener pastures, different markets. And then cash flow. This is huge. So if you're paying capital gains tax, that's less money you have for another property in the future. So by deferring capital gains tax with the 1031 exchange, I now have a bigger chunk of money. I have that full $1 million for my California home example to go ahead and invest in a different market and a different listing. So that's massive. So yeah, really great benefits with the 1031 exchange. Obviously, this is a very high level overview that I went through quickly just to get your feet wet. If you guys do have more questions, go ahead and ask them over at nestment.com. There's places that you can ask questions. You can also put it in our Slack group. We have a co-buy Slack group that you can join as well. But hopefully this gave you a good starting point to understand a 1031 exchange.